What's up, gamers, and welcome back for more WotC-20. Today's matchup is Milltres versus Riptide, two very different decks. We will have a type advantage on the Riptide side, of course, being a water deck with Feraligatr, and then Milltres basically trying to mill the opponent out with Milltres from Fossil. So that is a wildfire kind of deck, usually stall base, usually not a lot of attacking, so we'll see how this goes. Usually these games can get pretty long, so opening right off the bat here, it's going to be a Cleffa in the active for Riptide with a Totodile on the bench, as well as a Chansey in the active and a Milltres on the bench for Milltres. Surprised to see the Milltres down so early, and we will see an immediate water attached to Totodile for turn. That is Neo Destiny Totodile, and turns will pass over to Milltres. So Riptide clearly likes the hand they have. You can see a bunch of water energy. ER immediately hits the water energy on that Totodile. Stacking ER is a good way to deal with a Feraligatr that's in the active and swinging at you. And it looks like a Copycat being considered will hit the board. While Copycat is resolving, Feraligatr, and particularly this Riptide deck, a pretty big stage 2, 120 HP, which is best in class for the format. And Feraligatr really made some waves in the Neo formats. Riptide was probably the most successful of the big three decks, being Riptide and Big Fire, and at the time Slowking, which was ruled incorrectly due to mistranslation. So Feraligatr trying it out in WotC-20, likely a good idea. Has not seen a ton of play yet, but here it is finally. Fire attached for turn to Chansey, and a pass. So back on Riptide's side, I assume we have a Croconaw. We do have a Croconaw, and a water energy attached for turn into a pass. And that is a Japanese printing of Neo Genesis Croconaw. Sweep away for 50 is still a good attack. Requires 3 attaches, but it also mills the top 3 of your deck. Still 50, good numbers to hit. Chansey retreats out, puts a Lickitung into the active spot, one of the best stall cards in format. 90 HP on a basic is a big body, and then Tongue Wrap for 1 colorless energy will deal 10 and flip for paralysis, so definitely a big stall card. And a focus band comes down onto that Milltres. Milltres is always susceptible to getting gusted and knocked out, especially at 70 HP. It also has a retreat cost of 2, so it can get stuck in the active pretty easily. And it looks like Tongue Wrap is going to not only hit the Cleffa, but also paralyze it, so we'll keep an eye on how that impacts the following turn. Tyrogue drawn off the top, not a common baby to see, although it is getting more and more popular. But going back to Milltres with Wildfire, you can discard any number of fire cards attached to it when you use the attack. And if you do, discard that many cards from the top of the opponent's deck. Misty's Wrath hitting the board here, so you look at 7, pick 2 to keep into the hand. Looks like there's at least 1 trash exchange in there. I assume that's going to get kept for sure. And Milltres trying to keep things spicy by hitting the car alarm button on their keys. Okay, so trash exchange and water energy going into the bin. Water in the bin only serves to power up Feraligatr, which is also on the board now, into an Oak, which tossed a comp search, I think. So lots of discarding this turn to power up Feraligatr. So if you're not familiar with Riptide, it deals 10 damage plus, wait a minute, does 10 damage plus 10 times the number, okay, so 10 by default. 10 by default plus 10 damage times the number of water energy cards in your discard pile, then shuffle all water energy from your discard pile into your deck. So that's why Trash Exchange is such an important card in this deck. I was surprised to see 2 go to the bin. But you can always get Trash Exchange back into the deck with a Trash Exchange, so. Another Croconaw joins the board. Another water attached, so now Riptide's online. I never realized that it did 10 damage base. I always thought it was only explicit to the number of water in the bin. And a Goldberry attaching to Feraligatr now. Downpour is an ability on Feraligatr, by the way. Any time during your turn before you attack, you may discard a water energy from your hand. Can't use it if Feraligatr is statused, but still another way to power up Riptide. And turns pass back again. This Cleffa not eking. We haven't seen any eeks this turn. Alright. Still hits the Cleffa with Tongue Wrap, so we're close to a KO here. Another Feraligatr comes down. Water Energy to Cleffa. And decides to Eek, so not sure how much Water Energy is in the bin there. It's probably not 90 yet for that Lickitung. But Eek will refill the hand. Deck definitely getting thin between a Misty's Wrath and an Oak and a full hand Eek back into a full grip. So now if you're Milltres here, how do you stop Feraligatr from punching your lights out? Kind of hard to envision. Fire for turn onto Milltres. And there's a Copycat. So with the amount of discard already happening with Oak and Misty's Wrath, Milltres has a little less work to do. This is a single prize format, so Feraligatr will still have to swing 6 times. And as Copycat resolves, you can see a healing field there. Would not drop that right now with this Cleffa at 20. Might be able to get a prize. Usually the problem with Milltres is you're playing with a 54 card deck for most of the game, not really taking prizes. And Tongue Wrap is a Tails on the baby rule. Feraligatr's got a Misty's Wrath in hand. Is that being considered? It is. Alright. More drawing. You see a Gust there. That's probably going to get kept. Also a Pichu. Note that Pichu would deal damage to Feraligatr. Gust definitely being kept. Doesn't have to show it. Calm Surge also being kept. Discarding Water, Berry, and that Pichu. Gust definitely going to be important. So now you've seen 2 Misty's Wrath, discarding 5, an Oak, drawing 7, and a full grip Eek. And when I say full grip Eek, meaning that it was a hand of 1 or less, I think they had 1 card in hand, into an Eek, drawing full 7, so 6 off the top. Another is Misty's Wrath, my goodness. Lots of discard going on here. I assume the Gust will be kept here again as one of the cards. Looks like a Cleffa was kept as well, discarding a Water, some Gator lines, and a Magby. And Gator is now coming in. Cleffa stays alive with 20 damage on it. Downpour discarding an extra Water. Not sure how many are in the bin, I'll be honest. Alright, Riptide for 90 apparently. Well, 100, yep, that was that base 10 we were talking about earlier that I wasn't really paying attention to either, so. Alright. 100 damage to that Lickitung. We'll put it in the bin. That's the first prize of the match. And all the water goes back in. So I was talking before about Oak discarding, or not discarding, but drawing off the top, 2 Misty's Wrath, discarding 5, getting 7 off the top. There was one other thing that happened, a full Eek, so all of that gets offset just a little bit by Feraligatr putting Water back into the deck, right? So 10 cards went back into the pile there. Just got to keep an eye on how many trash exchanges are available. Again, you can trash exchange your trash exchanges back in. You just got to be able to find them. Tongue Wrap, no paralysis, so Lickitung number 2 likely going down here. There's the trash exchange we were talking about, so this can take a while to resolve. You got to count out the bin, keep that number in mind, combine it with your deck, shuffle it, and then discard that many off the top. So this is how you can get water very easily back into the bin to power up Riptide. And we'll see how many water get tossed here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5. 6. Alright, not enough to one-shot this Lickitung. But if Gust gets used, it could take out the Milltres. You just have to go through Focus Band. So 2 Gusts in hand, 1 Comp Search, probably going to go and find... Well, you just used a Trash Exchange, so... Not sure what'll be grabbed with the Comp Search here, but it puts another water into the bin. Looking for Misty's Wrath. So the loop seems to be going strong here, being able to Oak and Wrath constantly off of these trash exchanges into an item finder. Two more water into the bin. Are we at 90 now? Looks like there is going to be enough water. Let's see. Yep. Looks like that's 100 again. 9 water energy back into the deck. That's the second prize of the match. And now Chansey coming up. Curious if there's a DCE to allow for some scrunching. That would slow things down for sure. Magmar joins the bench. Also water weak. Town V here from Milltres. This will take a while to resolve. 5 cards in total. It can be any basic energy or Pokemon evolution lines that you get to shuffle back in. Forcing Riptide to hit high numbers with every swing. Definitely not impossible, but definitely complicates things just a little bit. I guess there is always a statistical chance that Riptide Trash exchanges its way out of the game, depending on what gets discarded. And a pass. So will we hit 120 this turn? Not a ton of water in hand to discard with Downpour. we will see a Gust. Pulling in Magmar. That's definitely an easier bar to match. What will Item Finder toss? Surely it'll toss a Water Energy. It's basically free. Nope. It'll be Pichu and Cleffa keeping the water in hand. Grabbing a Trash Exchange. Which makes sense, no point throwing the water into the bin before a Trash X. Looks like 17 cards going in, and then 17 coming out. Realistically, only needs to hit 3 Water Energy to get this knockout, and that would be for prize number 3. Alright. Well, depending on prizing, that is 3 Trash Exchanges in the bin, I believe. So luckily there should still be Item Finders, and yeah, there's an Item Finder. In the unlikely event one Trash X is prized here, Item Finder can keep this loop going. Riptide for knockout. How many were in there? 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, plenty, even without it being super effective. Chansey back in. Now we might see some scrunching. Prizing 6-3. Riptide very well in the lead. Hard to deck out against an attack that puts cards into the deck in bulk. Scrunch is good. We'll see if that draws out the other Gust. Back to Riptide, huge hand, 9 cards. 1 Item Finder, 1 Gust, no water in the bin, that's okay right now. We are going to see that other Gust drawn out, removing Scrunch effectively, pulling Milltres in with that Focus Band. You only need 4 in the bin here, so you could Wrath. We will see Wrath. Scoop threatened. 2 Wraths taken. Just enough water energy into the bin for a 1-hit knockout on this Milltres. Of course, we'll see what Focus Band can do. Alright, looks like Focus Band saved the Milltres. Healing Field coming out. It's good for the Milltres. Looks like there are no intentions of trying to knock out this Feraligatr. Imposter Oak, so the hand goes back in the deck, and Feraligatr is forced to draw a fresh 7, which does shrink the hand down. I guess you're just hoping for them to hit nothing on that. Try to keep Riptide off. Milltres does have 30 damage remaining for, or 30 damage remaining for a knockout. But water energy just drawn there. That'll be achievable. Wildfire occurs. I think it was discard 2, takes 2 off the top. Not doing a ton there. No healing field for Gator. Plenty of water in hand. Don't even need to trash X. You can just downpour your way out of this. No, didn't even need it. Didn't even need it. 1 water was plenty. Alright, prizing 6-2. Town V again, pulling out some fire energy, Milltres and Magmar. Don't think that'll do a ton here. Gonna have to just scrunch your way out of this one, which might not be possible. Scrunch is good again, drawing this out for everybody involved. Item finder for Gust, puts 2 water in the bin. For it getting gusted, has 70 HP, so 6 water need to be in the bin. There's already 2 there. And there's 3 in hand, there's 4 in hand, so that's enough. Two Riptide pilots sharing the same brain cell, helping everybody get there. Downpour puts 4 more water into the bin. That'll get us to a perfect 70 to knock out Ferret, put us down to a final prize for Riptide. First rolling for Healing Field. Tails for Healing Field. Ferret is knocked out. Energy count out. Chansey comes in. Okay, retreating with the fire energy instead of the recycle, I guess. Not sure what the benefit is there. Magby comes in, sputters, all abilities are off, so downpour is off at least. Rolling for Healing Field. Looks like it's good. Only 1 more prize needed here. Oaking away the hand. Fresh 7 drawn for Riptide. Can't discard the waters, though. Wow, that's a terrible hand. It's a completely useless hand. Well, I think there's at least 1 water in the bin from that oak. So it would be a 2-shot over turns against Magby, but could also retreat out, put in the Tyrogue, smash punch your way to this final prize with super effective damage or just lucky flips on the Magby. Rolling for Riptide is good. It's gonna be 20. Yeah, that's it. Magby lives with 10. Healing Field is out. Magby could stick around for a bit. Top deck mode for Milltres. Healing Field roll. It's good. Cluffa joins the bench. Sputter again. So that's not going to get a knockout, but it keeps Downpour off. There's the Trash Axe. That'll do it. Trash Axe off the top from a hand that was all water and a single Croconaw. And they'll count it out, shuffle it in, count it out again, and that'll probably be game, assuming you can hit heads. We'll see if Riptide has an option to go and find one of those 2 Gusts again, either with a Comp Search or a Finder or something like that. That's definitely enough water energy. Just needs to hit a heads. Alright, and there's the final prize, so game over. Milltres versus Riptide. Riptide making an appearance. Let us know what you think in the comments. Like, subscribe for more WotC-20. We'll catch you next time.